Mostly, I have focused on the question and answers of only two exams, December and June 2019. I am not going to discuss the whole question paper, all the questions one by one. As I told you yesterday, that I have divided all these questions into different groups, into different categories. There are some questions which are based on literary terms, literary theories, criticism, uh, some concepts associated with the theorists, cultural studies, questions based on a group of writers belonging to a particular movement, right? And also, I have created one category that is easier questions. Means, as I told you yesterday, that you will find some of the questions very easy. Just looking at them on the screen, you are going to appear in an online exam, right? So definitely you will find some of the questions very easy. There will be, I think, 15 to 20, or maybe to some of the aspirants, uh, up to 15, sorry, 25 questions, 20 to 25 questions would be very easy for them to answer. So I'm discussing that particular category right now. Then I will discuss other categories, other questions belonging to other categories. Fine. I'm sharing the screen, Vaidehi. If it is not properly visible, you please let me know so that
Yes, sir.
I can manage. So, is it
Yes,
visible?
sir.
The Word file. I have not.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have not shared a PPT right now, but a Word file is there. Visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, without wasting much time, now we'll proceed further. Yesterday we could discuss only 7 questions from this category, easier questions. See, one advice I had given to all the aspirants, that see, when you read previous year's question papers, and when you look into the question, right, you must not be focusing on the answers. You must not be only information oriented or answer oriented, right? You must look in and around of the question, especially. Even you also need to look more about the other three options, right? uh, and here I will not discuss only the answer, that this is the answer of this particular question. Now let's proceed further, this is the answer of this question, right? We will also have an explanation of a particular concept or theory, or even sometimes a writer's work, its major characteristics, right? So this is what that is important. So today's I will focus mostly not on the answers, that this is the answer of these questions, right? I'm not here the solution for the solution of the total paper, where I will just give you the answers, that you can also easily get the answers of those questions readily available on internet sources, right? But the main purpose in today's session is to discuss the in and around information. Means the answer is there, and we will look in and around the other options, so that we will get more ideas, we will get more information. No doubt you may feel that this session has remained totally information oriented, but I don't have any other option, okay? Because I have been discussing these papers as per the instruction of Dilip Sir and Vaidehi. Fine. So, eighth question. The question is, which of the following novels by Kingsley Amis represents its protagonist as an angry young man? When you will listen the word angry young man, first of all you will have to make it clear that what is this one. This is the particular term which is associated with not only the characters, but also a kind of a group of writers who were the playwrights or novelists, right? Especially the post world war writers, like John Osborne, Terence Rattigan, Kingsley Amis, Alan Silito. Those were the writers, even Ernest Hemingway. Those were the writers belonging to this particular group. And in their works also, we will find the major characters, especially the protagonists, are depicted as angry young men. Those are the characters who are alienated, somewhat rebellious or pessimistic by nature. They are not at ease with the society. They are not feeling comfortable with the society. We have the best example as John Osborne's Jimmy Bolter. A very working. He belongs to a working class, and it is also a kitchen sink kind of a drama. Mostly these playwrights have written in a kitchen sink drama. Means that they have projected the household matters in a particular work of art, especially in a drama. And those characters are not feeling comfortable with the society because somewhere they feel that they are estranged, somewhere they are feel that they are alienated, and that's why they are rebellious kind of a person, right? So Lucky Jim is the answer, but at least we must remember one another concept which is associated with this particular novel. And Lucky Jim is the titular figure, and he is the protagonist, and he is mostly termed as angry young man. One another concept or one another information associated with this particular novel is that it is a campus novel, right? Now, what is this kind of a novel? So this is the type of a novel whose main action is set in and around the campus of university, and mostly these novels are also known as academic novels, right? So a campus novel, this Lucky Jim is also a campus novel. Who were the other novelists other than Kingsley Amis, who wrote in that particular fashion, right? Who also wrote campus novels. So we have C.P. Snow, Jem Coetzee, Philip Roth, Evelyn Waugh, right? Some of the novels also I would like to give the examples. C.P. Snow's The Masters is also a campus novel. Jem Coetzee's Disgrace, a very prominent novel written by Jem Coetzee. Philip Roth's The Human Stain, it is also a campus novel. And Evelyn was Brideshead Revisited. So these are the novels which are also termed as campus novels, right? So I just thought that let me make you familiar with that particular concept also, which is associated with Lucky Jim by Kingsley Amis, a very prominent modernist novelist. Proceeding further with the ninth question, see here you will find some of the characteristics of feminist criticism. And now see what is asked here, which two of the following statements are applicable to feminist criticism? I have discussed this feminist criticism earlier in the previous sessions, and we had also discussed what is feminism, what is feminist criticism, especially when we discuss literature, right? From literature's perspective, we also discussed this movement. At that time also, we had discussed some of the key ideas or issues associated with this particular movement. And see here, sometimes see such kind of questions are asked. For example, characteristics of Bildung's Roman novel are given, right? And we may be asked a question that find out from the following, find one of the following which is not applicable to Bildung's Roman novel. So four characteristics will be given to you, and one of the characteristics might not be belonging to that particular term or that particular type of a novel, right? So it happens. We may be asked one question that find out the major characteristic of uh, comedy of humors or comedy of manners kind of a drama, right? It's a type of a drama, mostly which was popularized by the Restoration dramatists, right? So we may be asked such type of tricky questions that four characteristics will be given to us. Two might be there and two might not be the characteristics of that particular type of drama or a novel or that particular concept. Here four are given, and we are, and even see such kind of questions are commonly asked nowadays in almost previous 2 years of question papers. If you see, then definitely will find that we are supposed to get two answers, and there we have to apply our logic that what could be the answers here, right? So here, first of all, you need to understand the words, right? Options I'm reading, and then I will give you the answer. See, we are not here answer oriented. We will understand the question, that type of a question, that how paper setter has set this question, and even in upcoming exam, what kinds of questions you expect from the paper setter in our upcoming exam after just a week of time, right? See, I am reading the options right now. Recuperate the female writers ignored by the canon. Now, what is first of all the meaning of this recuperate? Recuperate means to recover, right? The female writers ignored by the canon means first of all to identify who were the prominent writers, who were ignored by the male writers, especially. So, was it their intention in feminist criticism? Next, fully endorse the social construction of gender. Endorse means to support, right? Whether they were there to support the social construction of gender, obviously we can say or we can deny that this is not the characteristic of that particular movement, because they were there for the equality, they were there for the liberty, yeah, right? They were there for justice. They were never supporting the creation of the genders, right? Then after, valorize the traditional canon uncritically. Valorize means what? Give value to the traditional canon uncritically. Now, do you think that they were all supporting to the traditional canon, which was mostly patriarchal by nature, male dominating, right? No, they were critically judging the traditional canon, right? So this is also wrong one. Then after, we will find mostly reject the essentializing of male and female. Yes, they were not. They were totally opposite to the idea of gender. That they believed that gender is a socially created one, and sex is a biological creation. So they were not supporting that particular difference between male and female. They were rejecting the essentializing of male and female. So A and D will be the answer. Answer number 3 will be the answer, right? Fine. So this is what we need to. We may not get that much time to think, but at least we must understand the question. All these options are very easy, but first we need to understand each and every word. Only then we will be able to get the proper answer, right? Fine. So that was the point. Next, the question number 10. Which of the following are the autobiographical narratives? A very, very strange or awkward kind of a question, where you need to know exactly that whether there are autobiographical elements in those works or not, right? Prominent ones, we remember that Kanthapura is a novel written by Raja Rao, right? And you know that Raja Rao had written this novel, which is purely based on the Gandhian nationalist movement. So nowhere you will find that the personal life was reflected by him in this particular novel. Yeah. Coming to the next one. So we have only now 3 options. Meatless Days. First of all, we will have to remember that who has written this one. So one American writer, a post-colonial writer, namely Sarah Suleri, right? Sarah Suleri, and she has written this one, Meatless Days. And actually, this particular work is a memoir. Memoir is a kind of a work which is autobiography. Almost it is equivalent to or similar to autobiography. There she has depicted the post-colonial Pakistan in this particular work, and her observations and her experience, right? So that is autobiographical in nature. Now coming to Prison and Chocolate Cake, right? Who has written this novel? I'm asking this question to all of you. Yeah, I want your reply, friends. Who has written this novel? Hello.
If possible, all the participants, I would request you to unmute and answer because I think
Because
sir
see,
won't be able to see the
Yes,
chat
I
box.
yeah, exactly. Whoever has given the answer, she is right. Nayantara Sehgal is the writer of this particular work, Prison and Chocolate Cake. And this is autobiographical by nature, because and this is autobiography itself, because in this particular work of art she has she has depicted her, or she has projected her own youth and the Nehru family, right? The God of Small Things. The writer of this book is Arundhati Roy, the Indian writer, a very prominent one, recent modern Indian novelist. And for this novel, she was awarded a Booker Prize in 1997. She wrote this novel in 1997, and she was given a Booker Prize for this one. And this is not autobiographical by nature. So we have B and C. Number 2 is the answer, right? Fine. So that was the thing. So we are also considering other options right now, so that somewhere if it is asked in our upcoming exam, it may help us in getting the answer, or it may broaden our vision, it may expand our understanding, right? For that purpose I am discussing other things. Next question. Which of the following plays were written by Thomas Heywood? Thomas Heywood. First of all, I would like to question, I ask a question to you, that to which particular age this writer belongs. Does anybody know? Will anybody give me the answer? Hello? Thomas Heywood, a very prominent dramatist, but very silent one. Perhaps we would have not studied any of the dramas in our undergraduation and post-graduation course, but he is also equally important one, right? Does anybody know to which age? Elizabethan age, or the Restoration age, or classical age, or any other age or period? Does anybody
Modern
remember?
age?
Thomas Heywood.
Modern age?
Uh, Almost you are right. Sorry, you are wrong,
Okay.
because
Sir, he is from Elizabethan age.
exactly whoever has given the answer right, because very prominent one, along with George Chapman, Marston, those people were the Middleton, even Ben Jonson, Shakespeare, and he is a contemporary of William Shakespeare. And here, see, if you apply your common sense, friends, let me tell you, if you apply your common sense here in this particular question, definitely you will get the answer very easily. Yeah, because Gorboduc was the first of its tragedy. I think Thomas Norton and Sackville had written this one, right? Am I right or wrong? Gorboduc. Gorboduc is the first tragedy written by Norton Sackville, right? And the Spanish tragedy, very famous work written by Thomas Kidd, one of the university wits, right? So now we have removed the two options. Which are the two left now? Second and third. So B and C. Number 3 is the answer, right? Number 3 is the answer. Are you getting my points? See, Thomas Heywood, he has written more than 100 dramas, or even sometimes it is known about him that he has written more than 200 dramas. I have exactly forgotten how many numbers, means how many dramas he has written, but many classical plays, or realistic plays, domestic plays have been written by him. And very famous one is The Woman Killed with Kindness, The English Traveller, The Rape of Lucre, right? If You Know Not Me, The Royal King and Loyal Subject, A Yorkshire Tragedy, The English Traveller. Such kind of plays have been written by Thomas Heywood, right? So here we have two options, number 2 and 3, that is B and C, and the third option is the right answer, right? When proceeding further now, see, such kind of questions which you will often find in paper 1, but they are also asked in our paper 2, in our subject based paper, right? Their assertion and reason based question. These kinds of questions are known as the questions based on assertion and reason. So it tests our logic, it tests our rationality, right? See, assertion is a kind of a statement which talks about the fact, right? And reason is an explanation about the particular statement that is given above, right? So assertion and reason. Now we will have to identify that is the R, means reason, is the reason explanatory statement of assertion A, right? We will have to find out, is R coming out from A? Are you getting my points? Assertion is a statement. Reason is explanation about the particular statement. Now we will have to identify, is R coming from A? Is the statement given in reason R section, is it the explanation of the statement given above in assertion A? This is what we need to judge here, or we need to check, right? See, I'm reading the statements now, both these assertion and reason. The primary component in novelistic forms is a plot that evolves coherently from its beginning to an end, in which all complications are resolved. Fine. So here, I think plot structure is discussed, right? And it is the fact. You cannot deny that this is wrong, because ultimately, you know, primary component in a novelistic forms is a plot. The storyline is important, and it evolves coherently from its beginning to an end, in which all complications are resolved. Conflicts are raised. You know, conflicts are also there in drama, and then ultimately all the complications are solved at the end, right? And the story runs from the beginning to end in that way. So that is a statement about the plot structure of the novel. Then after, we will read now the statement given in reason section. The novel is constituted by a multiplicity of divergent and contending social voices that achieve their full significance only in the process of the dialogic interaction both with each other and with the voice of the narrator. So here you will find more about the narrative technique, right? That we will find multiple social voices, and together it will make a voice, and the main voice will be the voice of the narrator or something like that. You just read it for 2, 3, 4 times. See, you will have to go on reading it until a comprehension takes place in your mind. You know, comprehension means until you understand the sentence fully. You will have to read it twice, thrice, 4 times. Then after, you will come to know that, okay, both the sentences seem to be true. They are true. But do you think that R is the explanation of the statement given in assertion A section? No. So both are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So that is the answer here. Another similar kind of a question here. 2 statements, assertion and reason, are given, right? And we will have to identify whether A is right, or R is right, or A is false, R is false, or both are right, or both are false. And if both are right, then do you think R is the correct explanation of A? Okay. If you find something confusing, then do you think that R is not the explanation of A? This is what we need to understand here. So in assertion A, statement is, cultural studies is simply the study of culture as a discrete entity divorced from its social and political context. Reading it again, cultural studies is simply the study of culture as a discrete entity divorced from its social and political context. So here, this sentence means to tell us that cultural studies is a kind of a multidisciplinary research, which ultimately an area in which culture is separately studied, a discrete entity. It is separately taken into consideration without without considering the social and political implications, right? So now this is the sentence. Another sentence: cultural studies aim to understand culture in all its complex forms and to analyze the social and political context within which it manifests itself. See friends, one separate discussion is required for cultural studies, but here I would like to summarize that what another sentence means. Sentence given in reason section is indicating us, right? See, you will find that both the statements are contradictory by nature. Do you think that they are contradictory? When I read this, I just thought that both the sentences are contradictory. But let me tell you one thing: they are not contradictory. Cultural studies also studies the culture separately, and also they take the social and political context into account when they study cultures. So both these sentences are right, but I don't think that here R is the correct explanation of A, because there is no relevance between these 2 sentences. Okay, fine. So another second number, option number 2 was answer. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Okay, proceeding further. Given below are the statement. Another a similar kind of a question means all these three questions were there in December 19 exam, right? And as I told you that mostly we will find such questions to be asked in paper one, where we are our logic sense, our rationality will be tested, and here also our logic is tested, right? So two statements is are there. Let's see. Let's read. Dialects are the broad range of social as well as regional varieties. Ultimately, dialects. It is one of the variants of an original language, right? Then after we have dialect describes variations not only at phonological level but also at the level of lexis and syntax. Yeah, semantically also we'll find variation in dialect from the original one. So both the sentences are right. Do you think that there is any connection between these two sentences given in assertion and R? And do you think that R is the correct explanation of A? No, A is telling something else, and R is telling something else. No doubt, both these sentences are correct, but here R does not seem to be the correct explanation of A. So number two is once again the answer. Fine. Proceeding further now. Next question. Once again, see fourth question. I forgot to tell you, four questions were there in December 19 exam like this. That many modern British writers infused their works with an extreme sense of uncertainty, disillusionment, and despair. Means you will find negative forces depicted widely, explicitly by the writers belonging to the modern age, right? And another one here, the wasteland ends in a flurry of random allusions. Yeah, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That is the end of that wasteland, and it is an allusion because T.S. Eliot was well versed with the Eastern philosophy also, and so many Hindu scriptures also have been taken into consideration when he wrote this one, the wasteland, and that's why it's very complicated work published in 1922. Fine. So assertion is right, I think, because there we will find because the because of the horrific and the terrifying effect the world wars, both these world wars have created amongst the mindset of the post World War writers, that they were totally disillusioned, and that kind of feelings of disillusionment or that melancholy, mourning, uncertainty, horror, ennui, boredom, suppression, frustration, depression, pointlessness of life. All of them have been widely, all these negative forces have been widely projected by the works of, by the writers belonging to the post World War generation. And here, the wasteland is also an epic of disillusionment. It also projects the predicament of whole Europe, right? So both these sentences are correct, but here I don't think that wasteland has any connection with the general term that the works are extreme. The works are with an extreme sense of uncertainty, disillusionment, despair. Number two option is once again the right answer here, because C, assertion A is no doubt telling the truth, but here R, right? R is not the correct explanation of A. R is not coming out. R is not the outcome of this particular A, right? So that is what I thought in those questions which were asked in December 9, 2019 exam. Fine. Now coming to another question, very simple question. I thought when I appeared in the test in June 2019, question is which edition of lyrical ballads was the first one to have the preface by Wordsworth? See, try to read the question again and again if you don't understand the question, because there you are not asked the publication year, first publication year, right? No doubt, Lyrical Ballads was jointly published by William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge in 1798. And this particular magnum opus creation by these two prominent romantic poets marked the beginning of the Romantic age. I think Romantic age started with the publication of Lyrical Ballads in 1798. But here, answer is something else, because the question is that which edition had the first preface by Wordsworth. See, when it was originally published in 1798, at that time there was no preface, but Wordsworth wrote the second edition, and it was published in 1800, in which he had included even more poems, and he had included a preface. So the lyrical ballads publication was edited with preface and more poems in 1800 by Wordsworth. So the second edition is the edition published in 1800, in which we will find preface. See, one more another thing, when it was published in 1798, only four poems were contributed by S.T. Coleridge. Most of the poems were written by Wordsworth. Only four poems were written by S.T. Coleridge. Second edition, in second edition, we will find Wordsworth adding more poems. In third edition, third edition that appeared in 1802, there Wordsworth had added appendix. So if such kind of question is asked, if not similar is asked, right, same is asked, then similar kind of a question, that which edition of lyrical ballads was the first one to have appendix by Wordsworth. So that is the third edition, and it appeared in 1802, and even 1805 the fourth edition of lyrical ballads appeared, and there Wordsworth had made some additions into the preface, right? So this is all I knew, and I just thought that this was the supplementary or the additional information that I wanted to give you in this particular question, right? Fine. Another question is, in Eliot's love songs of J. Alfred Prufrock, who among the following painters is subject of conversation among the uh, parallelating women, means those women belonging to elite class, passing their most of the time in coffee houses or saloons, right? And J. Alfred Prufrock, the titular figure, is the central character of this particular poem, and he is passing his most of the time in saloon because he is a wanderer, a loafer kind of a person. He is totally inactive, right? Middle-aged dandy, believes in pompousness, and passes his time in saloon. And there he finds women talking with one another about Michelangelo painter, right? And this particular is a kind of a reference given by T.S. Eliot to satirize the prominent habits of the women belonging to elite class. That it was their just pompousness, or we can say it was their just hypocrisy. They knew nothing about the painters like Michelangelo, but they were discussing something about Michelangelo, right? So that was the thing. Michelangelo is the painter who is referred in the poem. There is a line that women come and go talking of Michelangelo. So that is a kind of two lines T.S. Eliot has written in this particular poem. There Michelangelo's reference is coming. Another question, what is the priest's entreaty to Oedipus in the opening scene of Oedipus Rex, right? Question is there, and we know that in the very beginning of Oedipus the King, the play by Sophocles, we will find the priests making an appeal to the king Oedipus that you please try to do something to liberate the entire kingdom from plague, because plague had afflicted the entire kingdom, right? And they were all requesting the king to rid the thieves, the state of the plague that afflicts its people. So that is a very common, very easy question that we all knew, that in the very beginning of this play we will find the priests making a request to the king to liberate the entire kingdom from the plague, right? Fine. Proceeding further now, another question. Which two writers have written essays on the defense of poetry? See, very easy one, very easy one. Because see, no doubt, all these are very prominent critics, right? T.S. Eliot, Matthew Arnold, they are almost, very prominent one, even if we consider criticism, right? These are very prominent ones. But two of them are the writers who have written the essay in defense of poetry. Both of them have written their essays in response to the earlier critics. I will tell you, will give you more details about it. Right? See, you know, the exact title is there, Defense of Poetry, written by Phoebe Shelley. You know, Phoebe Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley, a romantic age writer, poet. He has written this the essay. The title of the essay is itself a defense of poetry. The same is the title. Actually, see, Shelley had written this essay in response to his friend, especially Thomas Lowe Peacock had written one article, and the title of that article is "The Four Ages of Poetry" that he had published in 1820. Right? Once again, I will repeat the information that I gave you. That Percy Bysshe Shelley had written "Defense of Poetry." I think he has written it in 21 in response to an article written by Thomas Love Peacock. And what was the title of that article written by Thomas Love Peacock? The Four Ages of Poetry, that he had published in 1820, right? And Percy Bysshe Shelley had written this essay in 21, but he could not publish it, and that essay was published posthumously by his wife Mary Shelley in the title Essays, Letters from Abroad, Translations, and Freedom. Yeah, so that was the title, right? He had this essay was published posthumously by his wife Mary Shelley, and it was published in 1840. Now another writer, you know, Philip Sidney is there. He has written one essay, and the title of the essay is "An Apology for Poetry." And another title of that essay is also Defense of Poetry, the same one, right? Same title, it is there, the same title which Phoebe Shelley has written. So Philip Sidney had also written that essay in response to one of the critics of his age, Stephen Gosson. Stephen Gosson had refused poetry. He was alike Plato, because Plato believed that all the poets are pipers, jesters, and all the poetry is trivial, and it is misleading us. It is spoiling the young people of our state, and they must be banished. Similar kinds of attacks were made by Stephen Gosson in I have forgotten exactly. Yeah, the School of Abuse. The School of Abuse was a kind of a essay written by Stephen Gosson in which he had attacked on the poetry. And in response to that particular essay, in defense of the poetry, Philip Sidney had written that particular essay, An Apology for Poetry. There he had defended poetry, and he considered poetry as one of the fine arts. It is superior to philosophy, it is superior to science, it is superior to history. And this is how he had defended that particular poetry. So both these critics, Philip Sidney and Phoebe Shelley, have written essays related to this defense of poetry, right? And here, see, Dr. Matthew Arnold, let me tell you, one of the very prominent Victorian critics. We may not forget him ever, because his contribution in the field of poetry and criticism is also unsurpassable. And he has written The Study of Poetry, not a defense of poetry, The Study of Poetry. I think when we were studying in the post-graduation years in the department in 2008, 9, and 10, 8, 9, 9, 10, 2 years, at that time, we had studied the essay written by Matthew Arnold, The Study of Poetry. It is also a very landmark creation by him. T.S. Eliot, very famous one, wrote many critical essays, and one of the prominent ones is, that is Tradition and Individual Talent. And many a time I have found paper setters asking questions from that particular essay, the Tradition and Individual Talent, right? That is also a kind of an essay that you need to read thoroughly. The key concepts that he has discussed in that essay, you must become familiar with that one, because many a time I have seen questions or sometimes quotations like that: honest criticism and sensitive appreciation it means he talks about the impersonality of poetry. He talks about the historical sense, right? And he gives examples of that particular acid, something like that. So you will have to be familiar with that one, T.S. Eliot's magnum opus creation, Tradition and Individual Talent. Fine. Proceeding further, now we have another question, that is, which one of the following correctly describes the meaning of Macbeth's word? And the type, and here the sentence is given: life is but a walking shadow. Only we are supposed to give or get the correct meaning of this particular sentence. That what does Macbeth mean to tell in this line, or even what is the meaning of the sentence uttered by Macbeth, right? So we will have to find out very easy that life is devoid, means life is but a walking shadow. What does it mean, right? What does this statement mean? Life is just devoid of light, that life is just devoid of substance, life is just devoid of spirit, life is just devoid of stability. What is the answer? Does anybody know?
Number 3,
Life is just devoid of spirit.
spirit. Maybe.
I think that number 2 is the answer. I am not right now sure of the answer, Ritu. But at least see, he means to tell that life is meaningless, right? Life does not have its meaning. Life is not having the substance. Life does not have any vitality, right? So that is what he wants to tell. You please make it sure what is the answer of this particular question. This is an open-ended question. I am assigning a kind of a task to you, that please get the answer of this particular question. Google it out, will definitely get the answer. But at least you remember one thing, that sometimes quotations are asked and we need to fill sometimes blanks, and multiple options are given. Even Hamlet's soliloquy was asked, I think, in one of the exams, and there we had to fill the blanks with some words, exact words uttered by Hamlet in a soliloquy, right? So that type of question was also asked. We have another question: in which play other than Julius Caesar has Shakespeare depicted the Romans better than the Roman writers themselves have done? You know, Shakespeare, uh, one of the milestones in the history of English literature, right? And depicted here, the question is that other than Julius Caesar, yeah, there we will also find Roman society has been projected by him, right? Rome is the setting, right? And other than this play, which other play is there? He has depicted Romans better than the Roman writers themselves have done. Right now, here are the options: Troilus and Cressida, Coriolanus, Romeo and Juliet, Two Gentlemen of Verona. See, the answer is Coriolanus. Now, see, with this question, I would like to give more information. See, friends, Shakespeare is a very prominent one. You know, when you are reading drama, you will never skip this man, this dramatist, and his dramas. So, what I suggest personally, see, what I did in my preparation when I was preparing for these exams, right? What did I do? That I had prepared a list, that the setting and the setting, sorry, the plays and their setting. On left side, I had written the titles of the plays, right? Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah. On left side, I had written a list of plays, and on right side, I had written their setting, plays and their setting, right? It will also give you more information, and then questions may be asked like that, the setting of so and so play by Shakespeare is, and 4 options are given, right? For example, the setting of Hamlet is Denmark. The setting of Measure for Measure is Vienna. The setting of Macbeth is Scotland. Setting of Othello is Venice, Italy. King Lear, and the setting is the ancient Leicestershire, right? Julius Caesar, Rome. Other than this Julius Caesar, which other place has its have its setting as Rome, right? So we have Titus Andronicus, Coriolanus, Antony and Cleopatra. Remember, 4 names, 4 titles of the dramas whose setting is Rome, right? Julius Caesar, Titus Andronicus, Coriolanus, Antony and Cleopatra. And then after, Verona is also a setting of the three plays. Which are the three plays? Romeo and Juliet, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, The Taming of the Shrew. I am repeating. Verona is the setting of three plays: Romeo and Juliet, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, The Taming of the Shrew. Right? And then after we will find, see, the setting of A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Right? The setting of A Midsummer Night's Dream is Athens. Right? Athens is also the setting of Demons of Athens, one of the plays by minor plays by Shakespeare. Sicilia, Italy, is also the setting of The Winter's Tale. So you can also make a list of works and their setting, list of works and their setting. Sometimes also novels and their setting. So if such kind of questions, the paper setters have multiple angles to ask from. And they may think that let's ask this question related to the setting of the plays of Shakespeare, a very prominent one. We all are familiar with these works. All the 37 plays, we all are familiar. And you might be even knowing the exact chronological order of all his plays. But the main important thing for us to look into is to categorize them into different parts or different sections, different types. And this is how you should also make a category. So not making is also helping you sometimes, right? It will expand your understanding. And another category, another work I had done, that was adaptations. That mostly, Shakespeare's works are based on some of his predecessors' works. So most of the Shakespeare's plays are adapted from the earlier prominent works, which were written by the predecessors, the earlier age writers. For example, let me give you the example. The Comedy of Venus is an adaptation of a play by Plautus. Right? All is Well That Ends Well. That is a play. Actually, it is adapted from Boccaccio's Decameron. See, Comedy of Venus is an adaptation of a play. The title of the play is Menachmi. Menachmi, I do not know exactly how it is pronounced, but Menachmi, 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 a play written by, a work of art written by Plautus. All is Well That Ends Well is based on Boccaccio's Decameron. See, Othello, we all are familiar with that one, and we would have seen even Omkara by Vishal Bhardwaj, and Othello. That is a play based on one of the stories of Cynthio. The writer of the name of the writer is Cynthio, and his story is a Moorish captain. So Othello is based on a story titled Moorish Captain by Cynthio. Okay. The Taming of the Shrew is also a play by him based on George Gascoigne Supposes. George Gascoigne Supposes. Measure for Measure is based on George Weston's. Measure for Measure is based on George Whetstone's Promos and Cassandra. George Whetstone's Promos and Cassandra. Henry IV Part 1 and Part 2, both these history plays are based on Holinshed's Chronicles. Much Ado About Nothing is a play based on Italian tale written by Bandello. Bandello is the name of the writer, and his tale, actually this play, Much Ado About Nothing, is based on his tale. And Bandello is an Italian writer. The Two Gentlemen of Verona is based on George de Montmayer's Diana. Right? Actually, it is a pastoral romance, Diana, and the writer of this Diana is George de Montmayer, and this Two Gentlemen of Verona is based on this play, this work, Diana, a pastoral romance. The Winter's Tale by Shakespeare is based on John Leal's, one of the university wits, John Leal's Pendosto. John Leal's Pendosto. Winter's Tale is based on John Lear's Pendragon, right? King Lear, actually, when Shakespeare had written this play, he had mostly relied on the plot from the story Arcadia, written by Philip Sidney. Arcadia by Philip Sidney. As You Like It is a play by Shakespeare based on Thomas Lodge's Rosalind. Thomas Lodge's Rosalind. So this is how you can make your own categories, or you can also make your own notes. I have given some of the supplementary information, some of the additional information that I thought that it may help you in remembering, and if such questions are asked, you will feel very comfortable to get the right answer of the question. Fine. Now coming to the another one. Who among the following is mourned in Walt Whitman's "O Captain, My Captain"? Very popular poem, and mostly it is prescribed in undergraduate level students. Even I am teaching, or I have taught, I have discussed this poem with the students of TY in my college. "O Captain, My Captain," a very famous poem by Walt Whitman. Actually, this is an elegy he had written after the death of Abraham Lincoln. Looking at the other options, you will also get the answer very easily. See, John Keats is a romantic poet. T.B. Shelley, romantic poet, and both these poets belong to England. Walt Whitman, being an American writer, a transcendentalist, right, a very prominent one, and Ralph Waldo Emerson was his contemporary, right? So obviously you will think that Abraham Lincoln was a kind of a very leading politician, and he had done a marvelous job of removing that slavery system from America in 1865. So this person would have written an elegy on the death of Abraham Lincoln. "O Captain, My Captain." So here also I have one idea in my mind, and let me share that idea with you, that you can also prepare a list that which are the works which the writer has written on so and so person's death, right? Several writers dedicate something to someone else. Several writers have written elegies on the death of their near and dearest friend, or predeceasing, the earlier writer for whom they have a kind of admiration. For example, John Milton had also written one poem on Shakespeare. Even Matthew Arnold had also written one poem on Shakespeare, right? So they have their admirations for a particular writer, and they have written that were in dedicating someone else. For example, see, one more example I would like to give you, that is W.H. Auden has written an elegy on the death of W.B. Yeats, right? W.H. Auden has written an elegy, and the title of that elegy is "In Memory of W.H. Auden." Sorry, in memory of W.B. Yeats. Am I mistaken here? Yeah, has written an elegy on the death of W.B. Yeats. Even Edmund Spencer has also written an elegy on Sidney's death, and the title of that particular elegy is "Astrophel," right? And even Edmund Spencer, a very prominent poet of Elizabethan age, and he has written a series of sonnets also in honor of his lady love, especially that lady's name is also Elizabeth Boyle, and the title of that particular collection of sonnets is "Amority," right? So such kind of works which are written in memory of someone, such kind of works which are dedicated to someone else, right? Elegies written on the death of. See, one more example I would like to give you about the elegy. Just a minute. Even Lycidas is a elegy, a pastoral elegy written by Milton on the death of his friend Edward King, a very dearest friend, and he had written that elegy, and the title of elegy is Lycidas, right? So such kind of works you should remember. you should make a list of works of art which are written in memory of someone. Some of the works some of the works that the writers have dedicated to a particular figure, right? So you should make list of such kind of works. So that was the category. Actually, I wanted to discuss easier questions. Whatever questions I have discussed, I felt that they were easier for me because when I attempted those answers, I could get right answers in these two exams. And especially December 19 is a kind of a very special exam for me because I could qualify it, and most of the questions I have taken from December 19 exam. Okay, fine. Now it's almost 5 o'clock. I will have to ask Vaidehi that what should I do now? See, I have a lot of things to be discussed because see, very few questions could discuss today, but I had focused mostly on the relevant information which is connected to that particular area or the writer or a work of art or the concept, and that is important. Our reading must be a holistic one. You know, holistic means it must not be only information based or information oriented. We should read something else other than the options which are correct from the questions, right? So that is what I felt. Now I think it was a session of 1 hour, and almost it's 5 o'clock. So, and I have also another session that is on 30th November. I know all of you will be very busy on that day, but there also I want to discuss something interesting like this one that I had discussed with you, the settings of the plays of Shakespeare, and his plays mostly based on, right, several other things we had discussed. That even when we were discussing this "Oh Captain, My Captain," I told you that make a list of works which are dedicated to someone else, which are written in memory of someone else. So these were I discussed with you lyrical ballads, and it's a kind of a see that information which was associated with that particular publication, right? So that was the thing. Actually, we were not answer oriented, as I had made this clarification with you that we are not answer oriented right now. We will discuss something from the broader perspectives. So it's exact 5 o'clock now. We'll ask Vaidehi what is to be done now. Whether we'll continue in the next, or tell me, Vaidehi.
Uh, and today's session
Yeah.
was based on discussion and how to solve the question. I think participant, I
If
also feel
participants
it
have any
is very
doubts,
important to know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if anyone has any doubt, then you can ask to sir. Please unmute yourself and you can ask if you have any doubt. And sir, you gave us idea about how solving the question paper. So that
Yeah,
will be beneficial to everyone
yeah,
because
because
many a times students do read just the MCQ and don't know how to solve the question.
yeah, yes, yes. See, actually, I am just right now discussing the things that I have practically done in my personal life in the previous exams. That is what I did practically, and that's why I made one clarification with the aspirants that I am not showing my scholarship. That I am sharing just my experience. That how did I prepare, right? And how did I read when I started reading for this exam? 2019 December exam was my sixth attempt in appearing in net exam. So previously also I was not that much active in preparation previously, but 2019 was the whole year that I had dedicated myself fully for the preparation of net and GSET exam, because I had three exams: GPSC, net, and GSET exam in the same year. And luckily, I could qualify all of them. GPSC is there, but interview I'm waiting for. Even the Komal is also there, waiting for the interview along with me. Yeah, Vaidehi.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Hello.
yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I want to ask that within these 6 days,
Yeah.
we are just left with the 6 days. So, what should be the exact strategy for the preparation? What should we read or what should not read?
See, again, your planning will depend on your previous preparation. See,
Okay.
it's very, see, obviously, depends on our previous preparation. Because, see, if you have been preparing well for 3 months, for 6 months of time, right? Then
Mhm.
after, I will suggest that you please do only revision. Do not read any other new area which you are
Mhm.
not familiar with. So
Okay.
again, this answer depends on your previous generation, previous preparation. So suppose X is a student, and if she or he tells me that I have been reading for and I have been preparing for NET and GSET exams almost for a year of time, 6 months of time, or 2 months of time, then almost for everyone the answers will be different one. Are you getting my points, Ravindra?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm getting your
So
point.
what happens? For example, if you said, "Sir, I have just started reading before 15 days," then
No, no,
after you
sir.
have
I have
some time
started my preparation in January
in January. Okay, so
when I
almost
didn't fill up the form.
you have.
When I didn't fill up form, before that I just started preparation
Yeah, okay, fine. So you are appearing in net exam after a week of time, right? And
after a
if
week of the day.
yeah, so what would be the strategy for you? If you ask me, then let me tell you one thing that you at least should read the those things which we have already read.
Okay.
Don't read any other points or the areas, right, which you haven't read till now. Because see, what happens that you would have read Victorian age, for example, Elizabethan age, right? So now it's better for you to be familiar with more about that particular area which you have already read, because literature is vast. A sky
Vast
is
one.
the limit. A sky
Okay.
is the limit. So ultimately, you will be able to get good command over the area only on that area which you have already referred, which you have
Okay.
already read, right?
Okay.
Because see,
Okay.
in 6 days of time, I don't think that you will be able to get good command over the area which is unknown to you. For
Yes, sir.
example, see, cultural studies you haven't read. For example, I'm just
Yeah.
giving one
Yes, sir.
example. The cultural studies is the kind of area that you haven't read, right?
Okay.
But you are quite you have read a lot of things about English education in India or literary criticism, right? So it's better for you to read that particular thing. Revision is important because we may not be able to remember the things that we have read before six
Mhm.
months or before 3 months, right? So
Yes, sir.
and see what happens that you should have many things before you when you start reading on your desk. There should be multiple sources, right? There,
Yes,
see,
sir.
now you should be summarizing each and everything. This is what I think, I believe.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other question is there? I think in a chat box I had seen one question. Is any homework for me? Dolia, Mahesh. You see, actually, I will ask you to fill the form of NET exam first and start preparing for the upcoming exam. Upcoming exam means the exam which is going to be conducted in December or in 21, right? That is only the homework for you. It is not applicable to all of you. Fine. Any other queries
Okay, thank you,
from
sir.
participants?
Okay, so participants, if you have any queries, you can ask sir right now. Again, we are going to have a session on 30th September.
Microphone selected.
So whatever has been discussed today, you can also practice solving other papers in the upcoming days. Yes, Sarju, you have some questions?
Yeah, yeah, I have.
Then you can go
Sir,
ahead.
uh,
Yeah.
sir, can you tell us how many questions can be asked from non-British literature?
A kind of a question which is almost troubling to many of you, even also it troubled to me, because see, mostly if you refer previous year's papers, you will find most of the questions are based on the British literature, right? So our priority will be to read British literature only. But sometimes some questions from Nigerian or Canadian or Australian novels or the novelists or the writers, it will confuse us that whether we should focus on them or not. But from my 2009 exams, let me tell you one thing, that most of the questions were from British literature. So what happens that we can prepare more things very well from the known areas, not from the unknown areas. If you can prepare Australian, African, Canadian, or it's well, it's expected that you be familiar with all the areas. But when you don't have time, right, at that time it's better to focus on the non areas. And British literature is a non to us. American is also non to us. So it's better for us to focus on the non areas, familiar areas where we will feel comfortable in reading also. So I don't say that those are the areas which you should not touch upon, right? You should give your priority to them if you get the time, right? But within just these 6 days, if you are asking me, then perhaps I will ask you to read the things which is familiar to you, comfortable to you. Okay? Yeah. Sometimes overview can be done. When a person starts reading, if he wants to be familiar with African writers, for example, Kenyan writers, Nigerian writers, then at least an overview can be there. You rely on the internet sources, write down the prominent Canadian writers, Australian writers, the African writers, and read only their prominent works and the characteristics, the issues that they have discussed in those works. That is the thing that I also did when I appeared in these two exams. That I had made also a list of those writers, Indian English writers. We will more prefer British literature in compared to the even Indian writing in English. So it is also there because mostly the paper setter will be an Indian one. So it is also an area which we must focus on. So an overview can be done. A general observation can be made by us, and relying on internet sources, it can be done, I think.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, you are right. Even I was preparing for exams. I made sure that I missed tests. And
Hello, Vaidehi, your voice is
notes
breaking.
are very helpful for
Hello,
like last
hello,
minute revision.
Vaidehi, your voice is breaking. You are not properly audible to me. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
is
Now
it
audible.
audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I was telling that making our own notes are very helpful for last minute revision. It
Yeah.
helped me
Exactly.
as well.
Exactly. Yeah. You also qualified GSET exam previously along with me, and perhaps your experience would also enlighten these aspirants. And then you are absolutely right in your opinion that those notes that we have prepared. And I am preparing all these PPTs and the PDFs and all these not word files from my own notes in itself, right? That's why I told you that I will be ready for as many sessions as you give me, because see, it is not just out of my scholarship I'm telling you, but just an experience that I have read a lot, prepared a lot, right? That's why we have enough material to discuss with the students. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Vijay sir, for this and we'll see you on 30th again. So I
Okay.
would request all the participants as well that whatever sir has discussed till now, practice it. And if you have any doubt on 30th, then do let us know.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Vijay sir.
Yeah. Thank you too, and thank you all the aspirants for listening me patiently.
So thank you everyone. And tomorrow again we'll have a session at 4.